And welcome back to the Career Build Series, episode 199. And so we are at FJ Warner Docks. And so if you've been watching the last few videos, I've been working on an Ekranoplan. And so I did a little bit of work off screen, just trying to button it up, test some flight characteristics, just some of the more boring stuff. And I think we're ready to put it in the Career Build Series. So in my Career Build Series save, let's go ahead and launch the Ekranoplan. We already did a diesel run not too long ago, so we still have 21,000 liters in here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go do one anyway. And so I'm going to load in the Ekranoplan, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my diesel spawners, and I'm going to set those all the way to 0. And so I'm going to spawn this without diesel, and I'm going to fill it up first. All right, so now we should be spawning with 0 diesel. All right. And hopefully I have everything I need in this. All right, so we're still, everything's always in the testing phase. Let's put it that way. So we have our diesel storage here. Let's go ahead and we're going to pump out. And let's go ahead and jump on the wing. Hopefully not break my leg. Okay. I might have damage off. Let me check everything here. Infinite electricity's off. Engine overheating is on. Player damage, let's turn on. Let's leave that off for now just because I have to end up jumping up and down. And I don't want to take too much fuel. Wasn't really paying attention there as I was filling, so let me see how much I have. I only took on 4.5 gallons, so I'm going to take on a couple hundred gallons. So I should put a gauge there. That'll be on the to-do list. So I'm going to leave damage off. I have to jump up and down. As you can see, it's not really convenient to get up and down from here. So, and let me try to put some more fuel in here. So. All right, so let's go ahead and check in here. That door will auto shut. Let me make sure I can get some fuel in here. All right, so that's interesting. This is not doing that. So maybe, I don't know if that fuel bug was resolved that caused them not to. Curious if that fuel bug was resolved because there was a bug where you had to vent the tanks. I'm not really opposed to that. Yeah, because IRL you have to have vents for your tanks and stuff. So just gotta find a little detailing stuff here. So let me check the plumbing again. That goes there. That is my hose my hose port there. Let's double check it. Yep. Piped in here. That goes in here. That goes all the way down here to this there. Let me put a tiny bit of diesel in, see if that will help it. So we'll put a little bit of diesel in here. And so I'll just test with it. So put like 2% in either tank. All right, so let's try it this time. So before I'm gonna hook it up and we'll see if it's pumping. Missed the wing. So this is flying pretty well. I have a couple issues that I'm trying to work on, but overall, I don't need to bring this hose in there. Hook you there, and let's go check the diesel, make sure we're pumping in. Okay, we're at 86 gallons. It's not continuing to pump in. Very interesting why this isn't pumping in. Okay, so we're not pumping in diesel at the moment, so this should be pumping in diesel. There's nothing, there aren't any valves or anything else. Let's see what this is doing, make sure this isn't going down. Nope, that's not going down. All right, let's try to figure this out and we'll solve it. So, be good for anyone who might have this issue, see if we can't solve it. So, one thought is to put venting systems on the aircraft. So, you'll get fuel vents IRL, and so let's make some IRL fuel vents. All right. Not really ideal, but it's not a big deal either. We can make this work. All right, so what we'll do is we'll do air vent on this. So IRL, you need to vent your tanks, or else you'll end up liquids are non-compressible, gases are compressible, so you're going to end up compressing the air. So you'll get some in there IRL, but then you'll start to compress it, and once it gets to essentially where the pump cannot overcome the pressure of the gas, it's going to cause issues. All right. And so this is going to be air only, so this is going to be our air vent. And so what we'll do here is we grab this corner piece there. Essentially just putting this back in there. This has been working really well, this setup. You know, I've been testing this a bunch. I have, you know, standard issues that I've been having, but, you know, I've been working through them pretty well. So I should be able to vent air into this. You do an air vent. I'll do an air vent up top here, so. And let's see if we can't vent this air out of the tank. And so probably gonna have to put two, what I could do here instead of doing this, let's do this. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. You know, we're not gonna be down here, so if I put an air filter on there, that will just take out air. And then I don't have to worry about using the other filter as well. Where is my air vent up here now? Probably in the way. Where is it? Right there. Yeah, it's right there on that pipe. Let's come forward. Let's see, that's a pain. That's all right. I can make it work here. So let's go ahead and I should undo that, and then I'll do this. I'll go like this. I didn't want to get in the building, but, you know, I didn't have this issue before, but I didn't test it either, so I figured, you know, the Ekranoplan was getting in a good space. I didn't want to do too much off screen that you guys weren't going to be able to see, so it kind of came back and do it just a hair building, and then just to get this fixed. And then once this is fixed, we can continue on. All right. Actually, let's go like this. Can't imagine I'm going to need that space for anything, so make sure that's oriented correctly. It is. Okay, beautiful. All right, so now this should allow us to vent that tank if there is logic in the world. So let's see. So hopefully this should help push that air out, but I don't know. We'll see. If not, if this is a problem, I'm just gonna, we'll fill it with diesel. All right, so we have an air vent there. That shouldn't fill, I don't think. So let's go ahead and let's spawn it and try this. So this should hopefully allow me to vent out air. Oh, I had no clip on. Joy. All right. Still have yet to fix that sign, but I'd say that's probably on their to-do list here. All right, let's see if we're going to be able to vent air out. So, nope. All right, I don't know what is up at the moment. Let's check this. So at least we'll go for a ride anyway. 86 gallons. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it there or not with 86 gallons. That's definitely jet fuel. This is the diesel. It's not pumping in either. Oh, it is pumping in. Okay. Well, okay, so if it's pumping in, yeah, it's pumping in. Let's let this get all the way pumped out. Once this is all the way pumped out, we'll see if I can pump in. All right, so we're down to 0. Let's see if I can pump back in. So, kind of like I purged the tank. Now is it not going to let me pump in? All right, so what is this doing that it's not letting me pump in? Let's see if I can't find, so it auto shut the door because a little water got in there. That's, you know, the desired thing. So we have 0 liters per second going in there. All right. Now let's grab this. I want to fix this problem here, so. That's definitely a straight pipe there. This comes around, it goes to here. I should be able to fill. I don't think I can crouch in here, but I should be able to fly in here to check it. But let's just rebuild this section, see what I can do here. Hose anchor there. Really didn't want to get into this at the moment, but kind of have to fix it, so. I haven't been really doing, actually I did fill my oil tanker without a problem, so I don't know exactly what's up. So let's go ahead and let's try this in a second here and see what I can do. So this should be able to vent out the system. I don't have any pumps, but I really shouldn't need pumps. This is pumping up there. So let's go ahead and spawn this. Pumping out. Let me make sure that pump is on. I'm going to spray a little diesel on the ground here. The EPA will not be thrilled, but I think we'll be all right. Oh, come on. If you misbehave, then I can't get in the wing. I'm going to be annoyed. Guy, I'm already trying to do something. I see some of my... It's the same button B to spray the nozzle as that, so that's annoying. All right, let's try this. All right. All right, so let's do this. I'm done screwing with this right now. I'll figure this out later. What we'll do is we'll recall this one last time. So again, I like to show these problems. It's a problem with the game. I don't want people to get the illusion that there's nothing wrong with it. I want people to see it. I don't think I've yet to... I can't take off with 100% diesel. Let's go with... Let's try this really quick. I'm going to end up spawning it and bring it back in the workbench probably. See, it's just way too heavy with full tanks of diesel. All right, let's recall it. All right, let me put these back in. These are my little facades. It's going to screw things up if I put those in. Let me fix them really quick. Okay, I need to fix the electricity here. That needs to go across. That needs to go across there. All right, now let's grab this. These are just my XML edited blocks to kind of hide those fins. That's all they are, is just some hidey block so that you don't see my fins under there. All right. I'm getting a little annoyed with this fuel issue. I haven't run into it yet, but I also haven't been doing a lot of that stuff. I went and filled up with my tanker, no problem. Don't know what's up. Check a couple more things, and then I'm ready to just, I want to play with this vehicle. I've been working hard trying to get this done. I don't want to screw around too much, so. I want to double check this, make sure this is routed properly. The pump goes to the engine. All right. So I'm gonna try it one more time. If this misbehave, no, I'm not gonna fill it one more time. Let's go ahead and put in 30%. I don't know. Let's put in 10%. We'll go run over there. We'll at least get a flight in, and if I can fill it with diesel, I'll fill it with diesel. If I can't, I can't. All right. So we'll try one more time to actually load some diesel in here. If it doesn't like it, we will just head on our way. All right, so it doesn't appear to be working there. All right, that's fine. All right, so let's go for a flight. So there's a maiden flight in the actual, our career save. So I did a bunch of work off screen, changed some controls up, trying to not shake my screen around too much. But all right, so I'm gonna try to get my autopilot configured first. Hopefully I don't have to use it right off the bat, but we'll do 10. What's our heading? 346. Let's go 350. I have a weird left turning tendency here that I have to figure out, but we're not gonna do that now. Those are just my lights. Prop's gonna come up to about 10% for taxi. I'm gonna taxi out of the way here. I should have put a keypad in to work on my PID. I need to work on the PID p-value. Actually, I think I fixed that already. I think I did. So one of the things why we're you see how it's automatically trying to weather vane us in the wind. If I go too fast or I have too much air, I can't steer with my rudders, my water rudders, so I have to go slow. As you can see now, I'm able to steer a little bit. All right, so we're going to take off into the wind. I'm going to go up to 40% prop. Above 80 knots, we take off quite easily. All right, so I'm going to set the autopilot. All right. Yeah, it's still doing that weird jittering with the, I have to fix the PID a little bit on the engine, but we are flying. So the Ekranoplan is up. Let's go down to the altitude hold. I put in a correction, but I'm going to have to correct it again. So I'm going to do -5 feet. That's just going to, I have to correct this. All right, so as you can see, we're about 26 feet off the ground. So that is actually in ground effect. Ground effect's about half the wingspan. And so we have a wingspan of 56 feet. So we're within the within ground effect. We'll go down a little bit more. Let's go down -10. That's just me. I need to adjust that so that it reads properly. All right, so let's go 90 here because we're going to hit the bridge if we don't start turning. So we start turning here. I can climb over it if I need to, but it's a dog once you get out of ground effect. I built it like that way on purpose. I don't want this to be an airplane. I want this to be a ground effect vehicle. So let's set our waypoint there. Let's go ahead and set our bearing. That's not our bearing, is it? That's a button that does nothing. Let's go ahead and enter our waypoint. That'll give us our heading, 094. We'll enter that in. That's going to turn us to our bearing. Still have a bunch of stuff on here from the Cormorant, like gear and parking brake. That stuff's all good. That's light. Heater working? Heater is not working. Let me go in the back. We should... Oh, why did I... No clip. I meant to just jump out of my seat. Alright, yeah, so heater's not working. We need to fix that. These windows, I can't move up one, you know, but you can tilt your head down and see. You know, it's not too bad. It's kind of cool. So the speed is good. Right now we're doing about 170 knots. I can go up to about 60% prop pitch here. Is about probably my best speed. So about 172. It also, as you see, it dropped the RPM, makes the engine not scream. We have reasonable cooling, but we will overheat, but it take us a while. Presently we have time to empty 21 minutes. So I'm going to try to get that down. And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to cram in full prop. That's going to give us more efficiency. It's going to steal some speed, but we dropped about, what did we drop? 12 knots. 12 knots, and we dropped about, not quite 50%, maybe about 40% of our RPM. So we're burning a lot less fuel. Now we're up to 29 minutes, so we just gained about 9 minutes of fuel. So I think what I put in 10%. I don't think that's reading correctly either. This is moving too slow for that to really be good. We're at slight discharge here. We're running off just alternators. We have 3 alternators. We have a very big motor back there, but we only have one. But it's diesel. It should be very efficient. So as you see how we're kind of banked, that's fine. The reason we're banking is, notice where the wind direction is. The plane is going to bank into the wind. And the reason it's doing this is it's homing to the target. Now, homing isn't what you want to do. You actually want to... let me check my time before I go into flight school here. Yeah, we have less than a minute. Yeah, we have less than a minute, so let me do this. Kill the volume, and I'll just quickly show you. We'll do a little bit of ground school here. I kind of like doing these. You guys might find it interesting. I kind of miss, teaching some of the flight stuff. So this will be kind of, maybe it'll be interesting to you. Maybe it won't. So let's go ahead and let's pick a circle here. Let's do circle with outline. All right, so let's just go like this. All right, so let's say this is an island. I meant to make it so I could actually see the, okay, so let's say that's an island, all right? And let's say we are here. So this is us flying along, flying along. That's our airplane, okay? Wings, tail, all right? That's our airplane. Now our airplane, there's two ways we can get there. One is called homing. So right now we're going to the refinery, right? Our wind is coming from this direction. All right. So what we're doing is what's called homing. So we are constantly adjusting our heading to head straight to this. Now the problem is the wind is blowing us this way. So the wind's coming in from the side. That in effect is blowing us this way. All right, so the plane is essentially tracking like this. So this is the track of the plane. So you see we're making an arc towards it. The wind's going to keep blowing us, and we're going to keep turning to it, and we'll eventually get to it, but we see we make an arc. All right, and so that's why our wing is down. We're constantly, our nose is always going to be pointed there, but we're getting blown away from the wind, so what it's doing is it's dipping our right wing to try to mitigate that push. So it's trying to counteract us getting pushed like this. Now, the proper way to go is what you'd do is you'd set a course. So let's make a course line here. Let's see. So let's go in green here. So the course line, let's say we wanted to go this course that's straight ahead here. So 94 was our initial course. So let's say this is 094. I'm making a frickin' mess of this. Let's go like this. Let's do this. So let's say this is our course, right? So our course goes down 094. So let's say we want to go straight. We don't want to home in an arc like this. We want to go straight. So how would we do this? Well, what we need to do is, now you could use a VOR, but we're using essentially what's an ADF. And one of the negatives of an ADF system is this homing problem. A VOR, you can use the actual gauge to stay on course. And so the aircraft wouldn't orient itself the way it is. It wouldn't be pointed to the station with the wing down. What it would do is it would be pointed into the wind. So the aircraft would look like this. I should have changed color, but whatever. The aircraft would be pointed into the wind, and it would be going like this. So it'd be what's called weather vane. It's going to weather vane into the wind, but it's going to stay on this straight line. Well, now imagine we had obstacles. So let's say we have a bunch of mountains over here, right? Well, we'd hit them. If we had a bunch of mountains over here, we'd hit them. So you want to stay on course. You really don't want to home. And so what I'll do is I'll manually do this. So what we'll do is we'll find our course. We'll find our direct line there. And I will go into the wind, and I want that number to always read directly in course, that same course. And so it's going to be tough for me to do it with just a minute left, but see if I can do it. So 101. So what I want to do is let's do, I want to get rid of this. I want to change, let's put 20 degrees. Let's put 10 degrees in. So heading hold, let's go 115 maybe. Crap. I got to get this off or else we're going to have a problem. All right. So so our course is 103. Now look at our course. See how the number's changing? So presently I'm facing into the wind. So if we look at our course, I'm trying to head directly on this line. I'm trying not to home towards the station. We would go in an arc, the old style. I'm trying to go this way. You can see we're coming this way. So that means my, actually my course is right here. So what my wind correction is too much, and you can tell that by, see, I'm not actually facing the wind, so I'd have to drop in, let's say 108, and so I keep changing my course, my wind correction, and now let's see if we're going to head towards it. So let's actually put a waypoint out here, and let's see if we can go on course to there. So let's put the new one in. So 095, so 095, let's check our course. So we're doing pretty good. If you look, the nose is pointed this way into the wind, but notice our path. Our path is pretty much headed right there. We might have a little bit of south track. So if we're tracking to the south just a hair, and I can actually tell by the waves that's probably what's happening. Let's go 104. And so we'd correct again. And so now we want to watch this course number. I want that 090 to not change. All right, so it went to 89, went to 88, so that's not working, right? So let's increase this, 106. So I want that number to stop. 109. And actually probably going the wrong way. Let's go 100. I am going the wrong way. No, you know what's happening is I'm getting too close to it. Let's put it way out here. Okay. Let's put in the new one so it's way out there, and then I can, the closer they are to you, the quicker you need to make your corrections. So now watch the number. If my wind correction is appropriate, that number really shouldn't change. So you notice how the number's not changing? So I have a good wind correction. And you can tell by look at the way the waves are coming. The waves are coming this way, so I'm using part of my heading to counteract the wind. I'm also using part of my heading to head towards it there. Notice 9.7 hasn't changed, so I have a really good wind correction. Now let's say I overcorrect. Let's go 104. That number should change at some point. And if it doesn't change in a second, I will increase even more. Because this is so far away from us, that number is going to change very slowly. The further you are away from your target, really the less you need to move your course. And it makes sense because, you can move 1 degree to the right, and because it's going to take you 20 miles to get there, you have plenty of time. If it's close to you and you're, that much off course, you really have to make a big correction. So let's put in a big, ridiculous wind correction. Let's do 130. And that way you'll see the number change. Might still take us a second because that point is way out there. All right, so see it just went to 9.6. So it should go to 9.5. So that's descending. Let's make the correction even worse. Let's go 150. Up, just did it. Okay, see it? Now it's down to 9.5. So we know our correction's too much. So let's go down to 100. And so theoretically we should get back on course. So if we know that we want to, let's say our desired course is 097, we want to get back on course. So we're trying to get this number to climb back up. So what we want to do is right now, so we're still going down. So let's go to 90. And so we're going to correct back this way. So I want this number to climb back up to 097. And we knew 30 was too much, so let's go like 120. I know this might be confusing, but I'm not really explaining it perfectly. But at the end of the day, I want that I want that number to stay 097. So if that stays 097, that means I'm correcting appropriately for the wind. So let's go less than 90. Let's go to 80, just to speed it up a little bit. We'd eventually get back on course. I'm just trying to accelerate it. So as I go further towards the north, let's go 70. That number should keep climbing, and that will put us back on course. See, it's going there. And then as soon as we hit 097, I'm going to go to 110. That's our wind correction angle. So I'm actually going to take it out early. I want to go to 80. Okay, so 115 will go. So now I'm going to put in my wind correction angle. That's probably too much. But now we should be able to stay on 97. So if that goes down, we need to go a little bit to the left. And so that's how you stay on course. And so, see, that's too much. So let's go 90, and we'll try to stay ahead of it. And so I'm just going to kind of zigzag and back and forth. It's way out there. And hopefully there's going to be enough to make this number climb. If it still goes down, I need to go further towards the north. And you see, because I'm making smaller corrections now, it's taking a lot longer. Okay, perfect. So let's go to 100. And we'll see if if that number still climbs up. 100 is not enough. If the number goes down, 100 was too much. And so again, what this is helping us do is, again, let's say that we're in the middle of a canyon and there was a rock wall here and there's a rock wall here. We could head right down the trench of the canyon, and we could get there. So this is actually going via, going via the bearing The other method, again, homing, this is going to keep us out of trouble from obstacles. And so if we look in game, see how we're pretty much keeping 9-7 the whole time. So I have a pretty good wind correction angle in there. So by me going back and forth, I got some experience with this, so I kind of get good after a while of guessing how much you can go. But this will eventually probably tick up or down. And if it ticks up, we need to go a little bit to the left to drop it. Left to right, a little bit to the right to drop it. And so this is how you essentially follow a course instead of homing towards the target. And so this makes good sense in game. We have islands, right? So if I'm trying to go to this island, right, I don't want to home around and hit this island, but I want to go on a course. So my first heading, what I do is find the heading, and then I'd home into the course. So let's go ahead and let's turn around and let's go back here. So we're going pretty fast, so it shouldn't hopefully take us too long. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let it. Is it turning? I can't tell. Did I put that in? 280. Okay, heading, holding to bearing. Oh, what happened? Something's up. Oh, my engine caught on fire. Okay. All right, I wasn't paying attention to my temp. I had the sound off, so I couldn't hear it. But, all right, so that's not a big deal. Let's go ahead and recall this to the workbench. All right, so that's just a little bit of the difference between homing to your target and actually flying a course. And so that's the reason why you'd fly a course. And we'll just kind of finish that discussion again. So, if you're coming from here to here, you'd have to be careful homing, because if you do a big arc, you're going to hit this island maybe, especially if you're in the fog. So you're trying to get to this island. You don't want to home to the target, because if the wind's blowing from the south, it could push you up and you could run right in the island there. And so what you'd do is you'd see, okay, from here to here, let's say the course is, I don't know, 120. And so it says, okay, when you first get the number 120, okay, you would turn to 120. Now, if the number's climbing or descending, you would change your course and you put in a wind correction angle. Once you have the wind correction angle in, you can then, instead of homing towards it, you're going on course. So you'd stay on this direct line. And by going via this line, it's going to keep you away from things like islands. All right, so just a little bit of navigation stuff. So that was just me not watching. I have all sorts of things like dinging buzzers and red lights that, of course, I wasn't paying attention to, that warned me that coming up on an overheat. I was thinking of putting an automatic overheat protection system in, but I kind of like to, I like my vehicles to be realistic. I like to take care of it myself. I don't like the vehicle to do too much for me. That's why I don't use moving maps. I don't use that. It's very boring to me. The whole point is I want to operate my vehicle. I'm going to go and put an altitude in here just to get me ready to throw the autopilot on. Put a 350 in, and we'll take straight off. So see, I have a little bit of weird right turning tendency. See, it's doing weird stuff to me here. So we can go over land. Once, what it does is it switches to the distance sensor. See how it's pushing us up? That's the ground effect. My simulated ground effect. So we can go over land here. It's simulating ground effect where, see how it's following the contour of the land? It's needs a little bit of PID tuning work. That's why it's jerky, but we can go over land with this. Again, it still has ground effect. We just we have to watch obstacles, and we have to manually climb over them if they're going to be a problem, because it will react. See how it's like nosing down? That's because I'm doing too much yaw. But yeah, so that's my simulated ground effect. So it has a simulated ground effect system in there, and that will see how it's following the contours. So this is working like it would work in real life. So this is just me taking my aerodynamics knowledge and kind of applying it to the game. So what do I have? Did I put a heading in here? Probably not. Let's go with 90 for now. All right, so let's actually head to that target. Where are we at there? It's set. So let's put it in the waypoint there. All right, so 070. I didn't turn the autopilot on. Okay. 070. So first thing, let's head to 69. Okay. So you see it's turning us to 69. Let's turn on some lights. I'm also trying to test the battery here. Let's go up to 60%. I'll go to full prop just to keep the temperature under control. We don't lose that much speed. Again, we're only losing like 12 knots, but we're cutting down like probably, you know, 30% of the fuel. We just got a flash of low volts, just meaning that we're discharging. That makes sense. We're at low RPM. It's not producing much electricity. That, you know, we're still doing fine with electricity. As you can see how many decimal places. We're 4 decimal places losing battery, so we're good. And we just have 1 medium battery. All right, so see, we're heading 071. All right, so what I want to do is I want to put in 71. We're going to put that in. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this off, and now we're holding 7.1. Now, let's see if this increases or decreases. So it's presently it's increasing. So let's go ahead. Now I know just because I can see where the wind is, I need to turn to the right. So let's do 80. And so again, I want to keep a course of 7.1. So if this number drops to 7.1, it means I've turned into the wind enough. If it keeps going up, it means I need to turn into the wind some more. So you see it hasn't gone down yet, so let's add some more. So let's go 87. Do 7 more degrees into the wind. I'm waiting for that number to drop down to 7.2. Now that's our correction angle. We're correcting into the wind. If it's dropping, I need to come back a little. So let's go 8.2. So I want to maintain 7.1 the whole time. I don't want to do now. See, I dropped too much. So what I need to do is come the other way. So let's do 79. Still dropping. I want to come back and gain up. So I need to push myself more to the north, essentially. So let's go to 75. I want to get ahead of it. So the further you are, the more, see, like we're still dropping. So I want to go to 70. I want to stop that change, you know, as quick as I can. I'm trying to get back on target, back on course rather. And so this is how, you know, I've pretty much homed the whole, see it went up. All right, so now I need to go back. So let's go 75 again. Okay, so we're still going. I need to go. Let's go 80. I went 85. It was too much, but I need to correct now. So, you know, you kind of wave back and forth, but once we get closer, I'm just trying to stop it from climbing. Once it starts going down, so 80 is probably our proper correction angle, and we passed it. So that's why that happened. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually take over. All right, and I'm just going to steer it. So this behaves pretty well manually. I just climbed just a hair. It's going to automatically, I'm going to lose some lift as I climb. So, you know, that's going to, again, it tries to keep me in the ground effect the whole time. So I'm doing kind of a skidding turn here, which is an aeronautics term for height turning. So I'm going to start reducing the thrust. I'm just going to gently put it into the drink here. So we're touched down. I do need to fix that. You know, if I was paying attention, I would have reduced my prop a little bit. My prop at full. When you're doing things like landing, you want low pitch, high RPM on your prop. That helps you change the speed of your engine because you have you don't have too much load, and so we had too much load on our engine. That's with that prop at 100%. So I couldn't make big changes because of it. And so we're actually steering in the water. We have 2 rudders on the wing dams, the pontoons. We have to keep the speed pretty low because that will start lifting out of the water and they lose their effectiveness. So I might hide some more in there just to get us turning, but it doesn't turn great, especially with the wind up. So what I'm going to do here is I want to get this test complete. So let's do this. How far are we? We're not that far, but let's do this. Let's kill this wind. I'm going to have to fight the wind the whole time. All right. So let me go ahead and I'm going to start to turn us. So I have to turn pretty slow. So I have to keep it probably like under 10 knots. Because as I go faster and faster, we come up on plane and we get out of the water and those rudders lose their effectiveness. And so we kind of need to be in the water for those 2 rudders to steer. So you see we are turning. If I had 2 engines, that would help. Yeah, so it's just a kind of a slow, laborious process to turn. This will turn, but it's just going to take us a minute. You see, I just kind of have to keep it set at the right. And so actually, the better way I found was come down to like 10% prop pitch and go higher on my RPM. And I can, again, the lower your prop pitch, the faster you can make changes. So I can kind of more. I can control my speed change a little bit better. I actually might just take off and fly over there. There we go. Actually, this is not bad. Yeah, I can go high speed and steer. Once I get over 60 knots, my tail rudder takes effectiveness. So see how my right wing's lifting up? That's something that I screwed something up that added that, so I have to fix that at some point. That's causing me issues, so having some steering issues here I will try to fix at some point. You know, I don't like to have little fins sticking off everything. I kind of like to make it realistic, so I have to I'm trying to do it realistically here. So I need to settle this in the water. So one thing I have is, you know, I have some fins in there that's kind of fakes the ground effect, and it takes me up out of the water, so that's why I'm losing my steering effectiveness. So I'm just going to take my time and get turned around. I keep rushing it so it doesn't take too long here. So I need to keep my speed under about 9 knots. So see how well we're turning? Like, look at the island. If I stay under 9 knots, once we come up out of the water, those fins do nothing. So I have to kind of just take my time, and then once I get straight, I'll head over there. But actually, I steer pretty well. You see how we're like halfway out of the water already? That's when it starts losing its effectiveness. So I kind of want to keep about under 9 knots, I found. Keeps us in the water. All right, so once I'm aimed kind of over there, I'm going to, we'll go straight ahead. I just need to not go too fast because that's when that right wing does a weird pickup that I need to fix. I wasn't having that problem before. I haven't diagnosed it yet, so I'm having to try to diagnose it. You know, tested a bunch of things to figure it out. So like right now I have very little steering. If I go high speed, I get more because my tail rudder starts going. Now, in real life, if you look at the propeller, I even designed it this way, but it doesn't work in game. You see the propeller, it will be blowing air over that rudder. Even at very slow speed, you would have very high rudder effectiveness because essentially the air off the propellers would help you turn, but in game that's not simulated. So I might add a little propeller. I was thinking of that. I really didn't want to because you'd be taxing with the engine and you know, a lot of seaplanes, they use little fins in the water, but you know, I'm not really getting the turning that I want. I might hide some tiny little fins. I have a block in the back that I'm not using. I might hide one in there. I haven't decided yet. We're doing all right. It's just, you know, I didn't really approach correctly. I should have approached from the south. This is the first time I've gone in here. I'm hoping that my wings aren't too wide. I don't think they are. I think we're good. I can reverse out. I do have reverse prop pitch. Trying not to hit that right wing because it's going to turn me. That's all I care about is I don't want it to turn me. So that's fine if we go in because I can reverse this out. So let's do this really quick. Vehicle damage off. I turn vehicle damage off when we come in here because, of course, you'd have fenders. You'd have people helping you move. We don't have any of that. So I'm going to go to 0 on my prop pitch. And we'll test, see if we can even fill up. We might not be able to fill up. We might still have that issue, so we'll see. All right, so let's go ahead and shut down. We have 307 gallons in there. I don't know what we started with. 700 maybe, I'm not sure. I can't recall. The big engine burns a lot of fuel, but this should do a lot of work as well. So let's take a pick. And so this will be our first, you know, whether or not we actually can get some diesel in there, and I'll do some research on my own and try to figure out what's up and how to fix that. But maybe throw some things against the wall and see if they'll stick. But You know, at least we're here and we can try. And then if we can't, right, which I can't remember which one's which. That's oil. What are you? Diesel. Okay, diesel. I'm gonna buy some diesel. All right, and what do you cost? 35 cents. Very nice, cheap diesel. All right. It's of course, it's on the other side, but there we go. So that door will auto shut if we get water in here, and it will pump out. All right, so this is filling fine. It's those benches that aren't doing it. So if you look back here, this is my bilge pump. It came from the cormorant. If water is sensed in here, you see it's rating 0 water. If we get up to, I think I let 100 liters in here. So if we get over 100 liters in here, the bilge will turn on and pump us out. And it will automatically shut the door. So we'll shut the door so we don't flood. And so we're going to fill up. I'm going to watch this. I don't want too much fuel. I think we should be able to take off with full fuel. Let's put in. I've taken off with at least 4,000 gallons. Let's do that. Let's stop at around 4,000 gallons. I'm going to put a gauge out there so I can read it from there. I don't want to overcomplicate the system. Like, I'm not going to worry about putting a valve in there. Like IRL, you probably have some way to shut off the actual hose itself, like a valve in the hose. And so you shut the hose off. And then, you know, make it a little bit easier. But yeah, I'm really liking this. This is a lot of fun. Again, I don't want my vehicles. Every one of my vehicles, I want to do a specific set of jobs, and I don't want anything to do everything. I hate that. I hate having a jack of all trades. You could do that in game. In real life, you really can't do that. There's too many downsides to vehicles to have them do everything. It's better to have a purpose-built aircraft. And oops, see, we just got water in there. Let's check it really quick. Let's pump on. Pump false. Okay. See how we have 97 liters in there? So as soon as it went under 100 liters, it automatically shut off. So that's, see, system works. I should be able to open this door again. I should be able to. You misbehaving? Okay. Am I taking in water every time I do that? Yeah, interesting. All right. I'm not playing this in and out game the whole time. I'll just teleport out, but that needs to be fixed. So it works well on the Cormorant. I'll check the settings on the Cormorant, and I think I before I did hook that up incorrectly, so I need to check it. But I'm really liking this, and so I don't want this flying at altitude. I can do things like go over the train bridges. I can, if I'm flying over the land, I can go over some terrain. I don't want this thing flying too much like a plane. I did not. This is inspired by Ekranoplans. It is not made after a particular one. And so a lot of people, are talking about, this is part of the A90. It is some of the inspiration, but the only element that's the inspiration is the counter-rotating polar props. Like what this one, what it would do is it had a couple turbofans here to get off the water, and what it would do is this is your air intake. Air comes in from the top, blows through the turbine. It's angled down, so what it does is the exhaust from the turbine goes underneath the wing, and so you have the back of the wings on the water. You have the fronts picked up a little bit. The air goes under there. Well, it has one way to go, is push you up. And then once they got in the air, they shut them off. I think the A90 could go up to like 9,600 feet. I'm not doing that. I want it low. I don't want to, it's not, this is not a replica of this by any stretch of the imagination. Like I have, I have canards on there. I'm not doing gear. I might trailer it out if I take it out. I have a different tail design. My wing dams are more like the Caspian Sea Monster. So it's inspired by the A90 and some other ones, but it's not a replica. And so I'm not adding features that, quote unquote, should be on those vehicles because this is my own vehicle, my own design. Okay, we are probably taking on too much fuel here. Taking on too much fuel. What do we take on? 4,000. Let me see where we're sitting. That's not terrible. I don't want the wing swamped, so I'm going to actually probably limit the tanks at some point. Let's check at 3,000 liters. I will pump out until I can't pump out here, can I? No. All right, so we won't pump out. We should be able to take off with this. I'm just worried about taxiing out. We'll try to get out of here. If I can't, we'll recall. It's not a big deal. But again, still definitely in the testing phase. But what I'll do is I'll limit how much fuel can go in there. So I'll put valves and they'll automatically shut if it gets to a certain amount. So let's, that should stay on. That should come on. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my prop in reverse. I can do 10% in reverse. And I'm going to steer. I steer with my rudder keys. And as you can see, we can easily come out. So, you know, I'm not worried about that, you know, that angle that I put in there because I knew I could get out. So I'd really rather not put a propeller in there. We can steer fine. I had some issues with the wind, but I'm starting to get used to this vehicle too and develop my own procedures. You know, like I haven't played with this all that much either, so it's, you know, as I get better at it myself, you know, I'll come up with some better procedures. So we have a good bit of ferry fuel here that we're going to ferry. What is that? Small boat. If only I had a torch, we could run over there and do that. We're getting on time anyway, so we'll head back. But so this is going to be. Let me talk about. I'll just let this back out in a straight line. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 seats. I wish I could make the windows so I could see a little bit better, but you know it's mostly for decoration. Actually, I might be able to drop the floor down one, maybe. I kind of don't want to. The cockpit should be up higher. Usually the cockpit's higher than back here because you have to be up higher by the windows, and you want to be lower in the back. So maybe I'll drop it a block because we have plenty of fuel in there. We actually have more fuel in the tanks than I want. So I might drop it down a bit. I need to fix the door. But you know, if you see all the space I have back here, so I'm probably put beds in here. This will be my kind of my at-sea rescue vehicle. Some medical beds in here. I want to put a wall kind of demarcating between the cockpit and the cabin. That's why I left a gap here. Might put some galley business in there. Probably like sleeping quarters back here maybe. Some medical stuff, rescue equipment. All right, so let's steer out of here. Rev up and try to speed up a little bit going backwards here. You see how we lift out of the water as I give it some speed. All right, so I'm just going to do everything with propeller now. I'm going to start going forward on my propeller, which is my 1 key. And now I'm going to, once I go positive, I'm going to steer full left rudder. And I'm just going to steer really slowly here. And I want to stay under 9 knots. And then once I get turned out, you know, it's a little bit slow to getting out of here, but, you know, I can hide some more fins. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Hide some small fins. That will allow me to turn a little bit faster. Like, see, we're not doing a bad turn right now. You have to take your time with it. See, like, that's actually a really good turn right there. So I'm actually not really upset with that. 3 knots is doing really well. The problem is if we have wind, that could spell the end to us. So let me go ahead. Let me try this. Override weather off. Okay, the weather's not too bad. I kind of want to let it do its thing. What's that? Fire, too. So, see, we have some cool missions coming in, and I want to be able to do some missions with this. So let's go ahead and let's shoot for right about here, because I want to stop us before we hit the waypoint and kind of stop and taxi in. So let's go there. And so I'm going to, because we have wide open ocean, we have no obstacles, really. See, there's no obstacles. I can home to the target. I don't need to follow my course. It's a good habit to get into, but I don't need to do it. So, all right, we're ready to go. So let's go up to about 60%, I think, is my best speed now. I'm going to go to 40 just because that's going to give me the best control of my engine. We actually have an island right in front of us. So 80 knots is kind of my rotation speed. I'm getting that engine stutter that I don't know what's causing that I need to fix. See, it's doing that thing. It's lifting up my wing. I need to fix that. Don't know what is causing that yet. I think I know what it is. I think what it's doing is it's taking one of the pontoons or whatever you want to call them, the wing dams, and it's pulling it out of the water, and so it's causing a huge amount of drag on one side. So I need to fix that. I'm not flying this from third person, I'll tell you that. I'll crash this. Trying not to crash. We're also heavy. We have a good bit of fuel on us, so we have 4,000 gallons, so yeah, quite a bit, quite a number of liters. I'll do the conversion in a minute. All right, so let me get us set up. I think we're still set for altitude. What's my heading? I don't want that heading. Let's go 270. Oh, come on, come on, come on. I'm trying not to turn us the wrong way here. Let's go 270. Enter that in. 237. I was closest. 237. And let's just home to target. We have to worry about this one island, but that's it. So we're doing a big skidding turn. I think these probably did skid. You know, one of the ways to not skid is you keep a nice coordinated turn with plenty of bank angle. You don't want to bank too much. One of the reasons you don't want to bank is, remember, this wing needs to stay in ground effect to work well, especially. And so if you do a big bank, let's say we did a right bank, you're going to be lifting this left wing out of ground effect. And you're going to be trading some of your lift vector from holding the aircraft up to turning. It's better to stay in ground effect and use more rudder. That's why we do... What the hell is going on here? Why am I doing weird turns? Why is this not doing what it's supposed to be doing? Okay, I don't know what it's doing. $235, $237. What is it doing, man? My autopilot borked? I don't know, man. I gotta see what's up. This is weird. I wonder if the autopilot's borked and that's what's causing my problems. I'll have to check it because, like, it's not responding to my heading here. See, it's counting the wrong way. Alright, so maybe something's borked in my, that could, you know, that could have solved my problem. So I have to look that up and see, so I'll go through the autopilot and figure that out. But let's look. 2 minutes. We'll be there. I think the autopilot screwed up. So, as much as it sucks the autopilot screwed up, I've been trying to figure out this problem for a little while here, why it does that when I take off. It seems like it's trying to follow its own course. It was working for a little while there, and now it's not. So, we're doing a good speed. We have to watch our temperature. So I'm going to go full prop. That's going to reduce my temp here. And so what I'm going to also do is I'm actually going to do what people don't like to do in Stormworks. I'm going to reduce my throttle. So see, I'm reducing thrust. I know. It's a scary concept in Stormworks for people to actually slow down. But if you slow down, you reduce your temperature. So these are things you'd have to do in real life. See, we're losing temp. So I'm going to set it. Now, I could automate that system, but I'm kind of sick of automating stuff. You know, the whole joy to me is to actually operate the vehicle. And if I over-automate everything, it's, you know, it's boring. You know, like I've said before, the most boring flying I ever did was in the airlines. The most fun flying I ever did was general aviation. You know, we could go to cool places and, oh, you want to go look over at that field over there? Let's go look at that field over there. You know, and it was the least amount of tech. You know, I understand why people like tech, but it's like, you know, I want... You know, I really kind of want to, you know, the reason I like to have machines is to operate them. I do not know. See, it's like, it's trying to turn me right. I need to figure out what's up with this. So something's up. It's trying to turn me. I'll figure it out at some point and see why this is doing this. Could be something with the propellers, too. I don't know. I have to play with it. But 194, we're headed in the right direction. See this needle? That's my ADF waypoint needle. Watch this. If I straighten it up and have it straight ahead, see how it's on the top notch? That will take us right there as well. So that's the other way to go. But that is homing again, but we're headed right there. Yeah. It's actually might be trying to go to my heading hold there. Let's go 180. I bet that's what it's doing. Like the autopilot just kicked in. You know what? I wonder if I had some sort of height condition for my autopilot and it's screwed up because this autopilot came off something else. So I wonder if it's screwed up because this... Oh, there we go. Cut, 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 thrust, cut, thrust. I was trying not to do what I did last time. And and have issues. Actually, that was a beautiful landing. We're right here. I wasn't paying attention. So we want to go back down to low pitch, high RPM to steer us. That's going to give us the most response if, on water performance. So the reason you do that, if I didn't explain it well enough before, is the higher the blade pitch, think about it as you're in a canoe. The bigger the paddle you have, the slower you can move it because you're pushing a huge amount of water, right? So you need huge muscles to be able to move that fast. It's efficient, right? You can pull, say, 5 strokes with the big propeller, with the big paddle, and move yourself a good distance in the canoe, where if you had a tiny little thin one, say like as big as a butter knife, you might have to move that butter knife 1,000 times to get the canoe to move the same amount of time, and you can be sweating bullets, right? So it's the same concept. Now, if you think about that big, huge paddle, right? If I tell you, okay, you're doing 1 stroke per second, so it'd be stroke, stroke, stroke. Now go, and I say, go 10 strokes per second. Now you're trying to go, stroke, stroke, and you're struggling like crazy, right? Well, now do it with the butter knife. So you're going stroke, stroke, stroke. Now I say, go faster, and you go stroke, 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 stroke. And I go, okay, go slower, and you go stroke, stroke. So you can change your speed when you have less load, essentially. And so it's same reason why you can change your speed more readily if you're in the correct gear in a car. If you're in a low gear, within that gear's range, you can easily move speed. You can start from a stop. If you try starting in a high gear, you're not going to be able to start the car. You're going to have to feather the clutch and do all these other things to get it going. Same kind of concept is, the lower the load, the more quickly you're going to be able to make adjustments. That's why I don't put any flywheels on my aircraft. I don't want flywheels. Flywheels are good for trucks. Flywheels are not good for, you have some sort of flywheel in an airplane. You have the camshaft flywheel, but you really don't want too much of it. The whole point of a flywheel is to keep it in motion, right? The higher the mass, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. So the heavier it is, the more more force it has, the more likely it's going to stay in motion. And so that's good for a truck. So like the Mack Pinnacle, it has the big weight on there so that it keeps it, the flywheel to keep it moving at the same rate, and we don't need to make big changes in speed. We can do that with gearing. With a boat, you want to keep that going at the same rate. You don't need to make big changes. A small boat, I tend not to use them. An airplane that I need to make fast changes, or it'll come up on a mountain. I need a lot of power. I need it right now. I need to get up over the mountain. Best thing to do is bring your prop back some, go full throttle. You can easily change the speed of your engine and get up and over the mountain. That's why when you land an airplane, you want to go low pitch, high RPM setting. All right, so we'll recall this. We're at 18,010. Let's go ahead and we'll recall this vehicle and we'll check it. Okay, so this back, I made a couple changes, so I want to save it. I think this might be an autopilot issue, so we'll check that. Let's check the fuel, make sure we get credited fuel. All right, so we're back up to 32.9. We had 21,000 liters, so that worked. This is having issues filling from here. It's not the end of the world because I can launch vehicles with the tanks full. I just have to adjust my spawners. Of course, it'd be nice if they fix these. I hope they're on their to-do list and they get those out quickly to us, but we shall see. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you guys are looking forward to the Ekranoplan. I've really enjoyed building it. I'm really happy that I can get it in game now. Little tweaks like me fixing that autopilot issue, I'm going to do off screen. And then I think we're in good shape here to add it to the stable and do some cool missions with it. But it'll be really cool for doing at-sea rescues. We can't land it on the land. That was a choice I made. I could have added some gear to it, but I decided against it. I don't want it to do everything. I want it to be a sea vehicle. I don't want it to be, I don't mind flying over the land a little bit, but it needs to land in the sea. And so that was kind of my thought is, if I could zip across the desert and land, I probably use it too much. I kind of want to be like, okay, I'll zip across the land and come over here and then through the water and around, or I probably just run around the island. But I want it to have its own niche. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.